Yesterday, what some people make over the course of an entire week, we made in a single day. It's Ace again, and as you guys know, I flip used iPhones full time. And yesterday we made over $1,000 in profit, not revenue. So I'm gonna go over the system I have in place to have days like this and how you can do the exact same thing. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So to quickly go over the system I have in place, personally, I run Facebook ads. I run an ad across Facebook and Instagram saying I pay cash for phones in my local area and people can reach out to me if they have a device that they're looking to get sold for some quick cash. I run my ad at about a $40 a day budget, and I normally have about 6 to 10 people reach out to me daily. Now, an average closing rate for that many leads is around 20 to 30%, but we had a really good day closing people, which allowed us to have this $1,000 day, as well as they had pretty good stock on hand. Now, I'm not gonna be selling all these phones back on Marketplace because I spent way too much money to list all of these individually. That's just not efficient. I spent a little over $3,500 getting all these phones, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't have time to really just sit on $3,500. I need my cash back now. So I'm gonna sell all these phones to a direct buyer who's gonna pay me about 80% of market value for everything that I have. For most of these, I was around $100 to $150 profit. And since we have 10 or 11 here, obviously that evens out to the $1,000 day that I was talking about. Now, to make $1,000 days, you do need to have the right systems in place, and this doesn't happen like every day of the week. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I make 30K a month doing this, but I do make 10 to 12, and I'm able to do so because I have the right systems in place. So with all that being said, let's quickly go over what I got, how I got it, and what I'm gonna sell it for. So we started off with this iPhone 15. It came from Marketplace. My deal bot picked it up. My deal bot had picked it up the night before, and I was able to reserve a spot to buy. It was listed for $350. We're gonna resell it to our overseas buyer for $450. Now, if you're new to the channel, I always tell you guys that you shouldn't be on Marketplace scrolling, swiping over and over again, trying to get a good deal. You should really only be on Marketplace when it's convenient for you. This was convenient. My deal bot picked something up. It was in my local area, and who am I to say no to $100 profit? So I was able to secure this iPhone 15 for $100 profit. Let's get into the next one. Next, we got this iPhone 15 Plus. It's financed, locked to Spectrum. We got it for $175. We're gonna resell it to our wholesale buyer for $260. This came from a Facebook ad lead, somebody that saw my marketing and reached out and wanted to get their phone sold. He was really cool. I didn't even have to negotiate this guy down. He wanted $175. I paid $175, and we're gonna make $85 profit on this flip. Next, we had a pretty bulk deal. We got 3 16 Pro Maxes, all sealed in the box, financed to Verizon. We got them for $500 each. We're gonna resell them to our wholesale buyer for $650 each. I met this guy through Marketplace, but after finding out that I buy phones, he supplies me with phones pretty regularly. Now, what's crazy is when I met him on Marketplace, he had a couple other 16 Pro Maxes that I paid $400 each for. That's like what he listed them for. And after finding out that I buy phones, I raised my price a little, said that I pay $500. He was cool with the 5. He dropped these 3 off, and we're gonna make $450 profit. Definitely a crazy deal, but if you know the right people, it can happen for you. Next, we got another iPhone 15, repeat business from a previous Facebook ad lead. The lady came down, dropped a couple of phones off, and she's from a city that's about an hour away from me. I gave her a business card, and now she's pretty actively referring me to other people who have phones that they want to sell. And every now and then I meet her halfway to basically pick up phones from customers that she's referring me to. So this iPhone 15 was one of those phones. It's unlocked for any carrier. We got it for $380. We're gonna resell it to our overseas buyer for $450 again. Next, we got this 14 Pro Max unlocked for any carrier. We got it for $350. We're gonna resell it to our overseas buyer for $500. And very quickly, I know that I'm mentioning my overseas buyer a lot. Like, this is somebody that I met from networking very, very hard. And honestly, very specific to my situation, I got lucky that I knew somebody that knew somebody. Now, having an overseas buyer does give me a huge advantage because they pay more for phones over there, so I'm able to pay more here without changing my margin. If you're familiar with Atlas Mobile, that's normally like the US gauge for how much phones go for. 14 Pro Maxes are at $400. This specific 14 Pro Max has heavy scratching to the screen. Like, this is for sure C grade in the US. But since I know an overseas buyer who does refurb, I'm able to pay $350 for this 14 Pro Max and still make $150 profit. Not a lot of people in my area can do that. So that's an advantage that I have specifically, which made me a lot of money for this specific device and a couple others that we're gonna get into later. Now, we actually got 2 phones. We got this iPhone 13 and an iPhone 12 that I don't have with me because I actually already sold it to my local repair buyer. We picked up both of them for $60. I already sold the iPhone 12 for $80. The iPhone 12 was iCloud locked, and this iPhone 13 was actually blacklisted, and it has a cracked screen. I'm honestly not expecting to get more than 30 or 40 bucks for this device, so we're just gonna say that the 2 phones made us $50 in profit. Next, we had a repeat customer who sold us this 14 Plus and this 14 Pro. 14 Plus we got for $250, reselling for $350. 14 Pro we got for $300, reselling for $400. Both of these will also be going to my overseas buyer. And this repeat customer actually didn't come from Facebook ads. This was another person that I met on Marketplace. I let them know that I buy phones, and now they kind of give me phones every now and then. That's why I always tell you guys, it's important to give out business cards and let people know that this is what you do, so that when they do have stuff they want to sell, you're the first person that they think about. Now, for these phones specifically, this iPhone 14 Pro has some pretty heavy scratching to the screen. I say that this is about C grade. This 14 Plus has some scratching to the screen that's not as bad, but it's probably like B grade, B minus. And again, because I have an overseas buyer that does refurb, I'm able to pay what most people would pay for B plus A grade stock for C grade, B minus stock. So I'm able to pay higher for certain stock with my margins not changing. Huge advantage in the game that you guys have to remember. That's why I say that it's very important to network, ask questions, build relationships so that you can get connected with guys like this and make a lot of money. Lastly, we picked up this 15 Pro Max locked the Spectrum. It was in the same area and we actually found it on Marketplace. We got it for $300 and we're gonna resell it to our US wholesale buyer for $440. So to quickly summarize how I got everything, this iPhone 15 we got from Marketplace. This 15 Plus we got from Facebook ads. These 3 16 Pro Maxes were repeat business from Marketplace. This iPhone 15 was a referral. This 14 Pro Max was from Facebook ads. This 13 and the 12 that we already sold also came from Facebook ads. This 14 Pro and 14 Plus came from repeat business that came from Marketplace. And this 15 Pro Max was also from Marketplace. So in total, everything that we bought today costed us $3,665. And in total, we're going to be selling everything for $4,910. Now, we do have a couple of expenses we need to factor in as well. I spend $40 daily on my Facebook ad, and I also spent $30 filling up my car because I do drive. So with those expenses being factored in, we made $1,175 in one day. So as you guys can see, phone flipping can be pretty profitable if you have the right systems in place and you're taking care of business. It's still surreal to me because I actually checked my W-2 for my old job, and over the course of me working there for a month and a half, I made $982, and I just made over $1,000 in a single day. So I'm not going to get into you can't make me work a job, but seeing those numbers does make it pretty hard. Now, if you do want one-on-one help putting these systems into your own business and scaling, you can just click the first link in the description. There's a couple videos walking you through how the program works, and there's a link where you can book a call, and we'll see if you're a good fit because we're always ready to help. So I appreciate you guys sticking to the end of the video. If you did, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and share the video if you can. I have a pretty banger video kicking up for y'all that should be dropping either Sunday night or Monday morning. But regardless, I appreciate you guys sticking around and tuning into the content. So with all that being said, it's been Ace, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.